before we go across from South America and then going over
To the, yeah.
and what was it? No, we had to take off at midnight.
Oh, okay.
And by the time you taxied down and lined up, the engines were too hot. So
It's
we're
unbelievable.
taking off at midnight and called the tower, and with nobody else around it, South America. And so we sat there 1 full hour when the flight engineer said, okay, we can start them up. So I said, okay, we're going to start them and roll. And pull the tower down. Didn't know the runway went like this.
Oh, had like a little rise in the middle of it?
A big rise.
Okay.
And so I went down there and all of a sudden I couldn't see any runway or anything. I thought, that's the under the dam. And so I pulled it off the ground and we wallowed up like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
all of a sudden, there's the runway, we got another 1,000 feet. But we were airborne by that time.
Holy
And
mackerel.
off we got. So, but that was going over through South America.
Well, once you got over into the China, Burma, India theater, I looked it up on Wiki. That was what they called Operation Matterhorn.
Yeah.
And you were flying some of the first missions into Japan from China.
Right.
But you guys had to resupply yourselves over the Himalayan mountains.
Well, I've been 20 or 30 trips just hauling our bombs, everything back
Gasoline,
and forth,
oil, everything.
Then we'd run a mission.
Yeah.
That would be a month shot.
Wow.
And we back and forth. I don't know how many trips I've got just hauling junk back and forth. And but it was not a problem. It was just that we couldn't do it all at one time. We had to haul for weeks at a time.
Just to get a mission in, yeah. And for
Saipan, Tinian, and Guam. Yeah, we were on Tinian.
well, I tell you what, I was looking through your biography, and for your missions over there, Distinguished Flying Cross you received, and it also says the Air Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters. So,
Yeah.
very
Makes
proud.
me walk like this.
That's right.
I was looking at that just recently.
Can you tell me a little bit about the General Billy Mitchell group that was awarded to you guys with your 20th Air Force? You said you put that on the tails of your aircraft, and you
Yeah.
did the patch. What was that for?
Well, it was sort of a competition between all the groups, 4 groups. And so we just had a good record, 35 missions. And that's how we could put that on our airplane,
Okay.
the General Billy Mitchell group.
Okay.
That was sort of an honor.
I think there might be a picture of it in here. I'm not sure in the book, but and then you went ahead. Well, your first missions were in India, and then I believe you got transferred. Was it Saipan? You went down to
Saipan,
the islands,
Guam, yeah.
and then you flew the rest of them there.
The 2 on the islands there, and the one we were waiting to get on, the Japs still had that.
Oh,
Yeah, they were down in Northfield and South, but not that first part.
huh.
And so we had to wait a couple of weeks.
Clint.
And then we, all of a sudden, and it was beautiful because we were the highest, and you took off down, had 2 parallel runways, and the runways were made of
Was it coral?
the sea,
Oh,
coral and that.
Yeah, crushed coral.
Just as smooth as this.
Wow.
Oh, that was beautiful, boy. And but I'd take off, and then near the end, and then I could dive down and pick up some speed. Good. Then swing north, head north, and go on up.
Well, I was looking through your log books, and most of those missions looked like they were at least. I think the shortest mission was 10 hours,
Yeah,
but I think there was one that was 17, if I remember right.
yeah, that was fun.
And that's a long time to be stuck in that same seat,
Yeah, it was.
getting shot at,
The last mission was
black.
Japanese. It was a naval station.
Hmm.
And those SOBs could shoot.
Oh yeah.
They put over 175 holes in my airplane. We thought we bought, because we went in at 7,000 feet, nighttime, and they were waiting for us.
Hmm.
But we dropped all our bombs and everything, And then I drove it down and got it right on the water. Going like a dry, full throttle.
Right.
A dry, you know,
Yeah.
a dry bait.
We get it.
But that was South America. We took off at midnight one night on the way leaving South America, and God, our engines were constantly overheating.
That was.
And so it was midnight, and I called the tower and said, we'll have to cool the engine for South America. Nobody's around there.
No, who are you talking to?
So and I said, when we hit it at 1 full hour, and then we found out it was up hills like this.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that. And I was airborne when I wish I had another 1,000 feet. got that airborne, and we made it fine. We made it to India.
It's a long ways to fly.
Hottest place in the world.
I believe you said the runway temperature was 155 degrees.
That's right. Yeah.
Good grief.
You had to fly that one out. Most of them we flew out at nighttime.
No air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
Not back then.
And we went, even then, we went down that runway, and finally I saw the weekend where the barbed wire fences are. And we took a couple of 100 feet of those. They didn't get tangled up in the gear, so we were all right.
Anybody have any questions for Dick about some of the missions or anything else with his career? Now
you heard of the Taj Mahal?
Oh, you saw that?
Circled it.
Wow.
Came flying, and there it was, Taj Mahal.
Wow.
Dropped down to about 1,000 feet, and it was all covered with something. But they were doing cleaning it. They chip it, little tiny chips of the whole thing. A gorgeous thing. Oh, that was pretty. And we're thinking the beautiful Blue Nile was right next to it. It was a little darker brown than this. Oh, God. That was terrible. I mean, well, we saw that on our way out. But
when you were flying over the hump, over the Himalaya mountains,
Yeah.
did you ever get over all of the peaks, or were they still some peaks above you? Were you still kind of flying in the mountains?
be quiet. I've been right over the top of it. I know it's so close. I mean, what, you know, and there isn't nobody else flying around. So I took it off with her, and we were maybe 50 feet above it.
Oh,
I just circled around it like that. Then there must be a British base near us as we come down, and then we head for home. And every once in a while, the guys will in formation with us, and then they pull us cogs. Here's our wing, and they do loops around us like this. And they fighter planes, you know. And I couldn't do one. But after that, I mean, that and on the way home, we never had any trouble.
mm-hmm.
But Tokyo was one of the roughest, I guess you might say. We had so damn far to go. You saw it on the map. You're only over the target for 15 minutes, but you're 15 hours getting there and back.
That's unbelievable.
And so on our last mission, we got caught in the searchlights for 11 and a half minutes. Now I was way out here on the left. Here was the castle, here was myself. And you're on bombardier, you don't touch it. You just sit there. He's got control. And so we were way off to the side, and they were concentrated on something in the middle. So they weren't hitting us at all. But as soon as he said bombs away,
Got the heck out of it.
Got out of Dodge.
I dove that thing down about 100 foot off the ground, you know, going like a striped ape. And well, finally when they said they aren't shooting anymore, well, I just hauled it back and played fighter pilot. Got up to about 15,000 feet, and she dries up. So we got up to about 20,000 and went home. But you're over land, it's so sharp. Getting there, you know,
All over water, just for
Yeah,
that.
that's right, all over water. It was
Well,
it was quite a life, quite a life.
How many times did you almost run out of fuel?
The what?
How many times did you almost run out of fuel? There were a few of those stories you
A
told
few,
me.
yeah, what they used to do is measure the tanks,
Stick the tanks.
because we had to keep a report on that. And we got short one night, and I don't think we could have gotten 15 or 20 minutes when we were out of fuel.
Wow.
So it was something else again. When we were in England for 3 months, that was kind of neat.
I was telling some of the guys earlier, after the war, Dick went to your reserve unit back here in St. Louis.
Yeah,
And you got, what were you at, March Air Force Base,
yeah,
California. So during Korea,
right.
that particular unit had just came out and rotated back out of combat, so you didn't have to go to Korea itself.
No, we didn't.
You guys went to England for 3
We
months.
already served our time over there.
Right.
But it was, I enjoyed every bit of it. I mean, it was a beautiful airplane and did what we wanted it to do. Very rarely was I on 3 engines. But that happened.
Dad always used to tell us a story that during Korea he used to shuttle a lot of the new aircraft over, basically to replace some of the older ones. And every time he'd go over there, the ground commander or whatever would say, "Are you the new flight crew?" And he'd say, "We made sure we weren't on the ground more than a couple hours
That's
before
right.
we were taking off with that other plane."
Yeah.
Well, I was going up there,
Smart
and
move.
then, ended up, and I was just hauling stuff up there to take, so they could run missions, I guess.
Well, then a couple of times you were saying that you had escorted like a flight of B-26s or P-51 Mustangs. You guys were the navigation for those guys,
yeah.
and they were right off your wingtip.
Here's the wingtip. And they would do like this at 30 or so.
Now, this is when you actually took the crew over from some of the islands over the water.
Yeah.
To guide them over, yeah.
Because the fighters didn't have the navigation system. So you said they used to just almost sit on your wingtips.
Yep. Yeah, when they flew formation, it looked like I had Allison engines added to my airplane.
Oh,
I mean, that's how close they were.
good grief.
And several times we took out and we hit solid fog. And we were in formation. And when I got by that one, they were still on me, still in formation. They could probably just barely see my wingtip. Then the guy up here could see his wingtip, the guy up here. So, and then 2 of them on the way. You go down from China, then you turn and going into India. Well, right in through there, why must have been a British naval base or air base. And those guys used to escort us across there, do loops over our wings and everything. But
Spitfires, yep.
it was a good time. I was young,
Yep.
full of it, and not really frightened, afraid of it. I wasn't thinking something was going to happen to me on any mission.
And what did you fly before B-29s?
B-17, you name it, if it had a wing on it, I flew it.
When you were in Europe then?
Oh yeah, I B-29, B-17, B-24. Those are nice airplanes. And
What are some of the little things you trained in?
Aussies would do loops around my wings all the time.
And what were the ones you trained in, the little ones?
The what?
The littler planes that you trained in first?
Oh,
That's so far back I can't remember.
like the
Open cockpit. Yeah,
twin
open
beach.
cockpit.
Yeah.
And George Story was in my class, and he got excited, and he went up for his first flight training, and his pilot sits in the front of the star, his instructor, and he was in the back seat. Well, they were in such a hurry, he didn't buckle his seatbelt. So his The instructor said, I'm going to show you a loop. He got to see the whole loop. I mean, and then his instructor is raising hell with him because he's not answering him. And it wasn't electric, he had these air gas, what do they call them?
Like a stethoscope, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're walking through a tube like that. And then on top of that, he's really happy coming back like this. And he's hitting that up in the cockpit, you know.
Oh.
And boom, boom, boom. But no, the training was a lot of fun. And all of it was in Texas, especially AT-6s. When we got everything cleared while we were allowed to fly AT-6s. And it's off the Gulf, and they had air-to-ground gunnery. And I wasn't awarded. I was told don't do that again, because I used to come right off of it like that.
You had a lot of those run-ins, because what was the story when you let the colonel land in the bombardier seat?
Oh, I remember reading that.
The what?
There was a British colonel you took up for some reason.
And you let him sit in the bombardier seat?
Oh, yeah.
Then you
You
had
got in big trouble for that one,
engines
too.
go out or something.
Oh, well. But it was one hell of a career. Every one of my crew got home without a scratch. And we've been all over the world. Can't complain about anything.
No. Tell him what you wanted to fly first.
Huh?
P-38s.
Oh, everybody wanted to fly a P-38.
Right? And so he told him, he said, well, if I can't have that, give me the biggest thing you got. And they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big B-24.
That's right.
That's a good airplane to fly. All the big ones are good airplanes to fly. Just some are more fun than others. But then I got out of the service, and it's over at Scott Field. Anyway, he had a...
Oh, Parks.
Huh?
Parks. Did you get
Parks
the
area, yeah. And he also had a place up in Chicago. And he hired me for flying this little
The air coops?
side-by-side air coop, yeah.
You were
Good
selling
little
planes
airplane.
out of
They actually-
Fields, weren't you?
Yeah, we had one on display on the 6th floor store at Marshall Field down the loop. They had to take the wings off and everything and then hook it around it and then gradually lead it onto the thing, you know, like that, and then haul it up 7th floor. And then just put it together again. And they had a fence around it that they built around that.
And you sold quite a few that way, actually.
We
didn't
sold
you?
over 100 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
In a department store.
And they were
His and
expensive.
hers.
They were expensive, $2,150 for a new airplane. But no, then we went up to Chicago, and that Park said put us up there, and so we go out and give demonstrations on the weekends and that.
Well, I remember reading in your biography, you said that you'd gotten with Ollie Parks over here, try to get a job with TWA, and he knew somebody in Kansas City.
He flew me out to Kansas City,
Right.
and I went into the office of TWA, and there was a stack of applications that
Oh,
ahead of me.
I bet.
Wow. I'll bet.
I got out too late, and just no way in the world I was going to be able to overcome that.
Right.
So then, as I say, Milwaukee Airport, he started this little air coupe. You ever seen a little air coupe?
Oh, yeah.
Tricycle landing gear?
Yeah.
Neat little airplane. And
They are pretty good.
not everything.
Not supposed to be able to spin them.
Yeah.
Well,
No rudder pedals.
we take him up for demonstrations. This fella and this girl. So I took him up for it and everything. He said, "Would you give her a ride?" Sure. Kept it in the right turn all the time because she was leaning up.
Leaning on you? You haven't changed.
Didn't touch her. But Doc, she said she was clean.
Wasn't there?
That's one of the pet expressions over there. What's that?
Wasn't there an occasion when you ended up at the Naval Air Station in an air coupe up at Glenview?
Oh, some hell for that. The Navy didn't like you flying around them. They had the biplanes, and they'd come across. They were right off the lake, and they'd come across right over our field and everything. And they didn't seem to care what they were doing, so we'd fly formation with them. Folks. And they
Mike,
had
that's a good idea for a painting.
They had customers, but it was a hell of a life, really, all these years. God, when you reminisce about that, even today.
Yep.
I'm trying to get, what is it? For somebody, I've got to get pictures or something. So,
Well,
that's my life, and I'm stuck with it.
You're sticking to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Born in 1920. That's ancient.
My dad's 4 years younger than you. Not that far off.
When did you enter the service?
When?
What year did you join the Army Air Corps?
The day after it hit Pearl Harbor.
Day after Pearl Harbor?
They hit Pearl Harbor. The next morning, a friend and I were downtown. I was going to get in the Navy. I wanted the white uniform. Well, they weren't lowering their standards yet. And so we walked down the hall and signed up the Air Corps. And 2 weeks later, the Navy took that restriction off. Actually, I would not have been able to fly halfway as neat as the airplanes I flew, because the Navy didn't have that much, you know. I mean, they had airplanes, and you probably would have been flying, but nothing like we had.
Besides, you already had the girl.
Sure did. Sure did. But it was a hell of a life, hell of a career.
You grew up right here in St. Louis, didn't you?
I what?
You born and grew up here in St. Louis, in the city?
Yeah. About 5 miles that way.
Wow.
He lived right behind the old CBC
Okay.
Yeah.
and was always the last one to school.
Go figure.
Right across the street. Always
Yeah.
late.
I mean, here's Clayton Road, here's CBC, here's my apartment. And I was running out the door when the bell was ringing. But
Who would have thought that?
The brothers used to get so damn mad at me.
I guess so.
I mean, why do you do that? You're always been, oh, brother, fine. He was strict, because we had one of the kids that was always acting up. And one day he took it all, and he went down there and he hit, oh, I wish I could remember his name, knocked over 2 desks.
Wow.
And Brother Linus, big guy. Nobody fooled around with Brother Linus again. I was drum major of the drum bugle corps all the time in high school. But no, guys, it was, in a way, I feel sorry for you that you don't have a possibility of a career like that. Really, it's too long.
Anybody else want to ask Dick anything? Or go ahead, Myron.
What's the dumbest thing you ever did in an airplane? Something that you would never do again.
The dumbest thing you did in an airplane that you would never do again.
Take off.
Good grief.
That's a good one.
I didn't do anything dumb.
And get caught.
Right.
I got caught there, yeah.
But, no, that's about the size of it, I guess. When there aren't too many of us around that have a career they can talk about.
That sounds like a wonderful career.
And I got into with in a way I kind of felt sorry I didn't get in the Navy. But they had one airplane to fly. Same thing, I had careers and stuff like that. They didn't have anything like that.
Got a question over here, Dick. Go ahead.
I don't know anything about the aircraft. I was just curious, the tail gunner. You mentioned the tail gun position a couple times. If the tail gunner had to get out, did he have his own hatch, or did he have to crawl back into the fuselage?
That's a good question.
He could get out.
Did he have his own?
Yeah.
Where could he get out?
When did he get out?
Where? How would he
could
get
he get
out?
out?
On one of his windows. He could
Oh,
open
okay.
it out the door.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for your service. I don't think I'd be very good speaking Japanese. So, I
Right.
appreciate all of
I don't think any of us would.
your
No.
declarations did.
I don't think he wanted to even talk to me.
I was curious, were you surprised at the way the war ended with the atomic bombs and that, or were you planning on being at war another year or two?
I would have stayed on, and yeah, I mean, it was a career, and yeah, it was. You couldn't pay for that career. Not the airplanes have to do the training, and seeing the world.
But you would have probably done a lot more combat if the war had continued on.
Yeah, but they didn't have a chance.
Apparently not.
Did you have a superstition? Did you do something every time?
I didn't read
Were you
that.
superstitious?
Like before each mission,
Did
Did you have a ritual you would do every time?
Okay.
Good enough.
Works.
Yeah.
That's the best one.
It works. Yeah, I'm Catholic, and yeah, I depended on that. I prayed on when we knew we were in hot air. Boy, I was praying like crazy. Carried my rosary all the time with me. But it, without a doubt, it's a shame that most of you guys couldn't experience what I went through, because it was so great. And then I ended up without a scratch. You know, that helps too. So
Well, we
didn't lose anything, arms or legs or anything.
well,
I was
Dick,
young and full of.
Full of something.
right?
Yeah. Lots of your grandsons here.
Well, Dick, we thank you for your service.
Oh,
thank you.
God. I'm so impressed with this thing where you can talk about it. And I've got something to talk about.
Well, we hope a couple of weeks from now, maybe we can turn the temperature down a little bit when the airplane gets here. We'll have you out there at the airport.
Okay.
So.
I hope I can at least get a ladder, because it's a dog to climb up. Oh, is it hard
We'll
to get
fix
up?
you up.
I think that could be okay.
It's got the nose gear. It's got that. What am I trying to say? That thing that, like that on it, you know, that would open up and.
The scissors, yeah.
And yeah, when under the thing like that came up and I hit that thing in the center, went flat on my back. I knocked myself out completely. But I only did that once. But not one of my crew members got a scratch.
That's really saying something.
Oh, it is.
Came back with all those
Oh,
missions.
without as much flying as we
Right.
did.
How many different aircraft did you have during your 35 missions? How many B-29 did you keep flying the same single aircraft and all those? Or with 175 holes, did you have to switch off to a different aircraft?
Well, we got those mainly in the B-29, B-17, B-29.
But I mean, how many B-29s did you fly of your missions that you recorded? How many different aircraft? How many different B-29s?
Or were you always in the same plane?
Mostly in the same plane.
So,
Occasionally, but usually you were assigned an airplane. Is that what you mean?
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's,
My question was going to be, did you start with the same aircraft you finished with?
yeah, I think so.
Tell you what, we've got
B-29.
Marcus,
Yeah, you only have
when he
one.
scanned all your information in from your biography,
Yeah.
we've got some pictures. If you guys would like to see some of the aircraft that Dick actually flew, we can pop that in. real quick.
Look at there he is, full of.
Actually, I think I left it over there next to you in that manila folder.
I'm here.
Okay.
That's the inboard engine on your left there. That's all the stuff you wore.
That's the same photo that's reproduced in the book. Turn these down.
Right behind me, the navigator. and there's a wall there. And then there's the opening to the Palm Bay.
Everybody see that okay?
Lot better.
He was young. Look at that.
What is that?
I want that in
Nice
England.
hat.
I love that Scottish tab. Oh, man.
Now that was after, that was in England, right?
Yeah, it was in England. Yeah. Yeah, that was, and the name was on the side.
What year would that have been? When you were in
These
England?
shots were what, like 51,
Yeah.
52?
Circle Easy, that was our outfit with the red tops. That was in Jamaica. We were there overnight. I think we were there 2 days in Jamaica. Then headed for West Palm Beach. This was on our way home.
Another
That
good
pretty
shot.
formation. Oh, it was a beautiful airplane to fly. It just, so good looking. Most of them were.
Where's that? That's coming back, I guess.
Yeah, that's coming back up from the mission. No, more than likely it's going up because you didn't fly in formation when you didn't have to.
Dick, was it hard landing at night with all that glass up there? I've heard that you got
No.
reflections.
I used to love to fly at night.
Okay.
No, never. Never bother you. Runways are marked well.
There's your crew.
Ducimus, we lead. That's what it says on there.
Oh,
And then
Who came up with the name?
Ducimus?
Mhm.
I don't know where that came. You look on the tail real quick, there's a little round circle near the front of it.
Yeah.
That's a, yeah, that's a, oh, I'm trying to think what bomb that is. It was
I
a,
think there was a close-up in that color photo.
I think so, yeah. But there's a
Okay.
name on it. Circle Easy.
No, back.
Not on that side, only on the other side.
One more.
That's Jamaica.
What year was that?
Well,
What year was that?
What
there
year?
you go, right there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's another one.
Dead Jug. That's the name of that.
I like that nose art.
Dead Jug. Yeah, it was really exciting.
That was your one over in
That's England there? Or was that, that had to be
Dead
East?
Junk was Asian.
Okay.
That was my original crew. My,
Who did the art for that? Gosh, that's great.
the what?
The artwork there. It's
Oh
beautiful.
yeah, how about that? That was after we got back.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was an airplane we got back after been overseas. That guy in the front, no hat on, he was my engineer, flight engineer. And the guy on the left was a
Navigator?
no, he was a he was a, oh damn it, what am I trying to say? It was a career for him, and he was going to West Point, I believe.
Do you have that sequence of photos, the one crash?
Yeah, there's tips though, which is pretty big.
Oh,
Let's do
And
that.
every time you start out, they had a 16 push them, you know, so it doesn't, so it starts easier. But it's a beautiful, graceful airplane, and
just
one hell of a performer.
kind of explain to you guys, when you see any of the engines, the radial engines where the cylinders are staggered around the crankshaft, the reason the guys pull the propellers through before start is because as soon as you shut the engine down, oil seeps past the valve guides and it leaks down into the cylinder head. And if you just went to start the engine, it would blow that whole head off, or it could, or bend the connecting rod, because it's the cylinder, the piston can't move up and down like it's supposed to. So you pull the props through to clear the oil out. Sometimes you even have to pull a spark plug out to let it just drain out of the bottom. It's so bad.
Yeah, you had to do that first.
Yeah.
16 times. And that, if there was any chance of any oil stuck up there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one hell of a life. Came through without a scratch, except when I climbed under and turned underneath I had a cap on with your emblem on the cap. I drove that emblem in my head.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't get that open.
okay, well, that's fine.
What do you recall of your crash landing when the gear didn't, the right gear didn't come down?
Remember that, Dick? There was, you were, oh gosh,
Tell
you
me
told
about
me
it.
about that. You had to hand crank the gear, didn't want to come down, you had to land with the wheel up.
Yeah, no problem. Never worried me or anything like that. Because all the lights and everything went on when it was down right.
So they did crank
That
it
was
down?
Toten to Tokyo. It was the nose guard on that one.
Toten to Tokyo, yeah.
Yep. Well,
Quite a
let
life.
me turn the lights back on.
Quite a life. Thank you for having me here.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.
That's the story.
The Ancient Mariner.
Dick, I didn't get to this earlier, but I want to give you this. Tom designed these a while back. Tom Dahl did.
Wow.
You were a plank owner of our group, and so we didn't get a chance to get that to you till
I
now.
don't think I wrote that. That doesn't look like my
Tom
signature.
did those himself. He wrote all that. And Bob, we have one for you. Haven't been able to see you in a month of Sundays, so you get one.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the people.
On number
In the back, if you turn it over, that was the original plank owners when we first started this group in Tom's house
Oh,
back
here,
in
yeah.
07.
I don't remember having Dan
Some of
O'Hara
the
on
first
the
group
crew.
that I
I'm an imposter. Okay, I'll scratch that out.
Thank you for having me. It's a real honor. And I'm getting
found out.
too damned old.